Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. It is Heat L, of course, but we'll be going a little bit of something else beforehand. But obviously, that will make sense in a second. I am joined once again. He hasn't been back since Heat C, but he's done many things in his time. Over the month he's been away. He's got married, had a honeymoon. Did something else in his parents' house for a couple of weeks. I can't remember. I don't know. No, it's not a good enough excuse. He should have been here, but he was here in spirit, of course, and it is, of course, Anson9132.
The Robot Wars Guru. Oh yeah, yeah. It was. I want to say thank you to James, by the way, for letting me out of his underwear drawer for a couple of weeks. It was nice.
Yes, because Alex started a tradition of me kidnapping everyone, and now I just can't stop. My insatiable urge to get people stuffed into tiny places seems to be increasing.
Yeah. Guys, seriously, though, tell my wife I love her.
I mean, Alex is in the basement, which I don't even have, so I have no idea where he goes. Sam's in a cardboard box. Mr. Psycho's in the attic, praying he gets his passport back. I don't know what happened to Steven. He's just, I think he might have gone. I don't know. I mean, he better appear. He's in Heat M, so he better appear again. And I don't know, but it's nice to have Anderson back in. His rantiness was sorely missed. I mean, I had people like Nate and stuff also do ranting, which was an under a little bit from Alex as well, but the king of ranting is still Anderson. It always will be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But you might be wondering why I said we're just not doing Heat L, sort of, because he did miss out on two heats he was going to be doing, Heat E and Heat K. And we're just going to briefly just kind of have a little discussion of what you thought of those heats overall before we get to Heat L. So first of all, Heat E was obviously it was Dominator 2's heat. We had the amazing Heat Final 101, one of the closest ones. We had Shadow of Napalm. Can't win it all. We had Major Tom's head getting blown off. Disco Inferno disappointing us once again. And who else is left? Oh yeah, Henry 2. Because last 2 seconds. Literally, Henry 2 seconds. That was its nickname. But what was your opinion on Heat E then, overall, then, Anson?
Well, I don't like Twister very much, but sorry, I thought I'd continue the meet. We will make it better than Eric. We will make it better than Eric. No, Heat E, in my opinion, is actually one of the stronger heats of the series. I mean, as far as battles go, you got. I will admit, there's not so much in the way of close battles, apart from the Heat Final. But there are some entertaining ones still. I mean, I don't care what you say. Seeing Shadow Napalm get raped by Dominator 2's axe is amazing. It's always going to be one of my top 5 moments of the series. It was a birth of a legend in Dominator 2. 101, despite being slightly outdated, this series still showed it could pack a good punch. Henry 2 getting hit in 2 seconds and dying, that was amazing. Disco Inferno's disappointing loss, while disappointing, was funny. And the trials, both the idiot. Both the pinball and the sumo were entertaining because it was nice to see some robots actually doing well at them. Spawn of Scudder did amazing, obviously getting 245 points, and Exterminator lasted a whole minute with Shunt by making it its bitch. It was a good heat overall.
Pretty much. And as I mentioned in that heat also because I was with Nate for that one, but my highlight was probably two things. Either Major Tom's head getting blown off, as Shunt's position of being angry that he's the only house robot without a head. So therefore he has to destroy every single model head. And obviously there's one in this heat later on, obviously. But obviously this first attack was against Atlas, the little body. Then of course you get Major Tom in this heat. There's a few more he does along the line, but my favourite one is probably Queen Up, but whatever. But and another highlight was probably seeing all the innards of Shadow of Napalm fall out as Dominator 2 as the house robots pushed it into the pit, and you just see the shell coming off. I think that's partially the reason. I just really wish they put that in against Frenzy. I really wish. That would have been so funny to see. Yeah. But of course, I don't want to spoil it if anyone hasn't seen the War of Independence, particularly if Mr. Psycho's listened to this, because I still haven't. Don't want to reveal who it is, but let's just say who they put up against it was. It was no Hypnotist that they were originally going to put in. Let's say that. And of course, the other heat was Heat K, which me and Mr. Psycho and Alex talked about recently. I said about a week and a bit now. And we're not a big fan of this heat. And we do think that Heat C is still worse. We still agree with you, Anderson, that Heat C is the worst heat of Series 4. Probably one of the worst heats ever. I think it's your least favourite of all time, isn't it? Heat C?
It's in the top 5 easily, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely noteworthy. But obviously we have Mousetrap getting very lucky. Get even more lucky is Little Fly, who did bugger all in its entire heat, but somehow managed to survive everything. Still got a KO, which is hilarious. Weldor doing nothing. Evil Weevil doing even less. Tiberius, most competent robot, getting stuck on one side. And the third most incompetent robot inside, probably outside of Mousetrap, pinning itself to the floor. And then a really shit run with Banshee. It was overall it was just, to me, it's just a terrible heat, but it's not. I don't get angry. I'm not going. It's not Heat C of Series 3 or even Heat C of this series worthy. It's more just. God damn it, this heat's rubbish. I don't know about what you think, Anderson, but.
Well, unlike you guys, I have a brain, so I actually quite like this episode.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Well, I don't like love it, but it is. I think it's not as bad as everyone gives it. Stick 4. Okay, so first of all, you mentioned that Little Fly was lucky. I don't think so. It KO'd a robot, like you said. And in that heat final, it was robbed. I'm sorry, but it was robbed, okay? It fucking wrecked Mousetrap. It took chunks out of its side. It tore out its weapon. It did everything to it, and Mousetrap just pushed it a couple of times, and that was it. And Mousetrap somehow won. I don't get how that works, but whatever. Mousetrap, whilst not a very good robot, was at least an original design, so I quite liked that. Something doing well for a change was nice until, its forklift broke on it. I thought, to be honest, that Mousetrap versus Little Fly was a very good close battle, in all honesty, despite the fact that I think Little Fly should have won. I thought that Something versus Mousetrap was fun. I thought that the Little Fly's Weldor and Something was a good battle. Banshee, yeah, okay, it was funny, but it wasn't that good of a run. All in all, it's an average heat. It's not terrible like everyone seems to think it is, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. So that's my thoughts on Heat K. Oh, and also Tiberius Series 4 is severely overrated. I'm going to do a video on it one day in the future.
I agree. As I said, it debuted Sam Smith as well, part of Team Carbide later on, which is weird to think. That's where they came from. But I mean, Tiberius, the rest of the series seems to be constantly unlucky. I swear, it's one of those robots I think really could have done well, and every single series, something a bit like Behemoth, but on a lesser extent, something fucks it. Or Smidsy, something just fucks it up, and it can never seem to get what it deserves. But yeah.
Well, the way I look at it is, I think they were lucky to make it past the first round.
Oh yeah, they were lucky past the first round, but.
And I say that because if Evil Weevil hadn't have broken down, they would have, and you know why? Because you can clearly see in several shots in that battle that it's stuck in forward drive.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. You can tell. Just watch the battle again, and you'll see what I mean. There's like at least two or three shots where it's literally just driving forward into the sidewall or something.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't really pay attention.
These things.
I didn't pay attention because the battle was so boring that nothing really. Literally, the first 30 seconds, Evil Weevil's already dead next to the wall, looking pathetic as always. It's like.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, there's the bit where Evil Weevil gets flipped by the floor flipper. Well, just before that, you can see Tiberius and Mousetrap in the CPZ with, I believe, Refbot and Shunt, or Dead Metal, Refbot and Shunt, or something along those lines. And you can quite clearly see the house robot trying to pull Tiberius off of Mousetrap, and Shunt does its typical. I think it's Dead Metal actually. Yeah, grabs a hold of it and pulls it away, but loses his grip, and Tiberius just slams straight back underneath it again.
All right.
You can clearly see it is stuck in forward drive.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is because this is what you get from Anderson. He's so sad he pay attention to these battles. So.
Oh no! I just got a brain. Just saying. I mean, Mr. Psycho, it's understandable he didn't notice. He's American, so you know. It's
yes, I can understand that.
But fellow Brits like you and Alex, I'm disappointed in you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. But of course, welcome back, Anderson. Welcome back. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in the slightest. But yeah, of course, this is Heat L. This week is definitely, again, well, contrary to what Anderson thinks, me and Alex are sort of in agreement. This is where the series starts picking up again in the mid series kind of gap, where things get a little bit boring to mediocre at times. I know, again, Anderson probably disagree. I've just knocked something off my shelf. Oh well. But this is live. This is live, folks. This is live. And it's fine. It's only a bit of cardboard. But anyway, this is the last heat before all the Christmas specials started appearing. This random bit, because the celebrity specials were listed next, obviously, because this is... I remember actually around Christmas watching these, around that time, and I was just like, yay, Robot Wars. And I remember so disappointed with Evil Weevil's heat, and this one actually kind of brought it back slightly for me. Even when I was younger, I got bored of Evil's Heat, so oh well, what are you gonna do? But yeah, this Heat does have a lot of interesting robots in it, surprisingly. And oddly enough, the two I really enjoyed seeing the most lost in the first round, both times. So, unfortunately, I have to wait until we're talking them last, but of course, the whole point of it going in, ascending order, descending order more like, sorry, is to start with the Heat winner. And of course, the Heat winner was the 10th seed's Spawn of Scutter. And I actually really, really like this version of Spawn of Scutter a lot. It's not as reliable. Again, it kind of shows you do see the early signs of these guys don't make reliable robots. Seems like that's like a tradition with the Spawn. I love the team though. The Spawn guys are great. I like the idea of a wedge with a spike on it. I think that's actually quite a cool idea because it actually worked once at least. You can see potential in some of it, I guess, but it's not really a weapon. I guess some people didn't want to expand on. But compared to the one in Series 3, it's surprisingly similar but very different at the same time. Like, it's a wedge thing, like a pushing robot, but it's actually got a weapon this time.
That actually moves.
Yeah, it moves. I mean, what do you think? Because obviously later on we get basically from this is the only series you see Spawn scuttering, because later on they start with Spawn again, and that's basically all they do for the rest of the series. But
yeah, I like Spawn Scutter. It's my favourite Spawn robot. In all honesty, I don't mind Spawn again, but I do think they just jumped on the old classic wedge-shaped flipper wagon. But it was all right. I mean, it did the job. Don't get me wrong. But it was more definitely the most unreliable robot they ever had was Spawn again.
Particularly Series 6 Spawn again.
Yes, I'd actually say Spawn as their least unreliable because it only ever broke down once, and that was in the Southern Annihilator. But yeah, I think it's a good robot. I mean, it had a lot of good power behind it. The spike was amazing. I felt as we'll get to that.
I mean,
it looked really sleek as well. Like, I like this sort of see-through blue color, with the yellow chassis frame. I thought that was really cool. And it was just big and mean, and it was good. It was a good robot.
It's a really cool looking robot. I mean, I actually agree. It is my favorite version of the Spawn machines, mainly because of that power it had, and also how, again, you don't see blue plastic plexiglass robots very often. Mostly they're just see-through or something like that. As much as I love King Buxton, even they're guilty of doing that, which is just kind of a see-through thing. Well, I actually do like the kind of like the blue look on this, and also again for a longer time they were the pinball. They're doing well in the pinball until a certain pair of robots came in and just sent "fuck you" and decided to get the award, the pinball warrior stuff instead. And again, it's a shame they went for the generic flipper from Series 5 onwards or Extreme 1 onwards, because it's just. I mean, I'm not a big fan of. I mean, Spawn again's fine, but I think that's probably why I don't like it very much, is because it just becomes generic. While the first two at least had, like, even the first one, which is just a little scoop thing, it has the colours are different. You do see the colour scheme reused later in the original Spawn again, with the kind of the red and the white stuff on it. But it basically looks like it's been thrown in some Raspberry Ripple. That's what it looks like. But
I preferred the red and white though. I didn't like the black yellow spiderweb thing.
Yeah, what was with the spiderweb? Because it's not got a spider theme, so I have no idea why the spiderweb appeared. It just looks off to me. But also they got bloody lucky against Supernova. I'm sorry. They
did.
Yeah, they were lucky to get us the first round, in all honesty. But Jesus, that heat's one of my least favorites of Series 6 because of that reason. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that, of course.
We'll get to that one day. I'm more likely going to be an X as a crap heat.
Yeah, I'm guarantee you're going to be in a grap heat. Don't worry. But of course we have the runners-up, and they did well in their heat final. Yeah, it was a great heat. Oh, we'll get to that obviously, but this is, of course, Nightmare, soon to be the Spirit of Nightmare from the Extreme 1, who failed to get in Series 5, then soon to be Raging Reality and Raging Nightmare. And they actually managed to do better in Series 6 and 7, obviously making the heat final and then eventually making the semi-finals, but this version of Nightmare, I will admit, for a first try, it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's very basic, just a pyramid with a front hinge flipper on the front of it, but I think for what it's worth, it's actually quite good. Although it makes you wonder, could they have actually flipped the robot back over again if it got flipped over?
No,
I don't think.
Bollocks! I'm sorry, the thing barely opened 2 inches. and it
No.
wasn't big enough.
No. Spirit of Nightmare was actually slightly better. Slightly. I mean, it had the Lego spinners on the side of it, so that was something. I mean, they actually managed to make it got far in the Annihilator, so that can't be too bad. And they did at least get a KO in this series, so traits against Plunderbird 4, but it's still a KO. So it's not that bad.
Technically a shock. It's a seed.
Yeah.
A bad seeding choice, but it's technically a shock.
Like, actually, for some reason, when I was because I watched series, because I think I mentioned before, I missed series 5, went to series 6 and 7. So I didn't realize it was the raging reality was Nightmare, because obviously it changed to Raging Nightmare in series 7, didn't it? I think. Yeah, so it was called Raging Reality. So I didn't see the connection. So I was like, okay, fair enough. And then I saw Lightning in series 7 and thought that was the successor to Nightmare. Because it kind of in a way, it's sort of similar. It's like a wedge with a front. Like, I love the flipper on. I mean, obviously gets that's series 7. But I love the flipper on Lightning. That unit is so great.
I'm one of these annoying people where I know faces really well.
I don't recognize faces at all.
Yeah, so of course, the minute I saw the team in Series 6 with Raging Reality, I knew immediately that it was the successor to Nightmare. And of course, there was also the little Norman, the little knight, and of course that was the thing that was painted on top of Spirit of Nightmare. So I recognised that as well. I'm weird like that. I know these sorts of things. I'm sorry. It's my Asperger's. I'm sorry.
I've got it as well, but I think my mind's faulty because I can never remember this stuff. But I remember robots, but not teams. Like, unless the robot's very similar, I'll forget. Like, I mean, I'll forget, for example, that I'm trying to think of a weird example. Something like
Well, Twister from Berserk 2.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, of course, that's good. That's a brilliant example, actually. But yeah, mostly Raging Reality versus Nightmare.
Rhino in Series 7 from Reactor.
Oh yeah, that's actually that's weird.
Yeah, that's a very big difference there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's weird. But Nightmare itself, again, for a first try, it's fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's not offensive. Nothing wrong with it, really. It's just, thankfully, they do make in Series 6. They actually make a decent robot that isn't just a pyramid. So, although I think to this day, they're one of the few flippers that's actually a triangle-shaped flipper. You never see that very often, and it surprisingly worked, which I was even more surprised about. But I mean, Fez losing to Razor, and imagine they had a tough heat against Razor anyway. So,
in all fairness, I mean, they did. I mean, they got 2 out of the arena flips. I mean, not many robots can claim they got 2 out of the arenas.
No, I mean,
I don't think how they actually claim that. I mean, Gemini can't, for example.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there are some robots I'm surprised still managed to get an arena flipper. Like General Carnage 2 getting an arena flip is weird to me. They actually do have one.
Yeah.
I would forget that, but yeah, that's all future episodes. Ooh, excitement.
Yes. Series 5.
Oh god, fuck me. But I mean, I'm sorry to. I know Alex and Sam really love Series 5. Particularly Sam was more of a bias because he actually was there for some of it. But I don't care. Yeah. Fuck me. I don't like Series 5. And then we have possibly one of the greatest teams ever in the series. Obviously, we've mentioned them before in 2 previous series, 3 previous series, because it's number 4.
Comegetabetterrobot.
No, what are you talking about? It's the Plunderbird, guys, because it's Plunderbird 4. We'll get to that useless bit of a box in a sec, but here, another useless box. Plunderbird 4. I mean, to its credit, at least it actually has like a actual weapon on it this time. Because, I mean, they had a weapon in Series 3, but they had to take it off because of pussycat reasons. And, just like Cerberus had to.
Ironically in the same heat as well.
Yeah, I know. But unlike Pussycat, who actually had potential, Plunderbird broke down in the first second as one track stopped working, and then the other track stopped working. And Thermidor managed to get a win by doing bugger all, like loads of robots in Series 5 and 3. But Plunderbird 4, I mean, obviously they basically used a similar design for Series 5, where it actually has wheels, which is actually really weird to think about, because every other robot until then, including this one, was a tractor robot. But I think this one's probably my favourite of the Plunderbird ones, mainly because it's the most striking. Because that bright yellow, all the others are kind of like blues and blacks and kind of like muddy colours. Well, I think this one kind of stands out the most because it's just the most different colour scheme. I
think aesthetically this is the best, but I'm torn between the series Plunderbird 5 and Plunderbird 2. Because Plunderbird 2 was actually a beast. That thing could push anything and everything.
It's actually reliable as well.
and it was reliable, yeah. Meanwhile, the series 5 Plunderbird 5, obviously, actually was very quick, had a skid steer system, and again had quite a good bit of push. I think if they had taken the power and the wedge design of Thunderbird 2 and put the power that and the speed that Thunderbird 5 had on it, they might have actually done pretty well. And actually, instead of entering with a crappy little slicey dicey thing, but put an actual disc on it, a la Series 7 Exterminator, they could have done better.
They could have, but then of course S3 happened.
Yes.
and for those who don't know S3, if you don't know S3, oh boy, you've got our treat for Series 5 and 6. You really do.
First of all, what the fuck have you been doing with your life? You call yourself a Robot Wars fan?
Exactly, mate. If you haven't watched, I mean, not like there's lots in Series 5 to really remember, but there's at least there are some robots like S3 to make up for it, and they are one of the few newcomers that actually become a semi-finalists in the later series, but in Series 5 and 6.
There's one for you, Sting and Sting 2, and S3. That's one that's a bit random, isn't it?
That escalated quickly. It really did.
Yes.
Out of nowhere. It's like, who knew this team actually had a good robot design in it?
What's that? You lost the Deitor in the first round in Series 3. No matter, we'll come back stronger.
You allowed Wizard to get through, and now you're beating up Plunderbird 5. It's it almost feels beautiful.
A semi-finalist from that series.
Yeah. Also, didn't it give Firestorm its first out of the arena?
No, Reactor did it.
Yeah, Reactor 2. I always forget about Reactor 2, even though it's good. I mean, I always forget that heat in general, but oh well. But Plunderbird 4, again, it's as reliable as every other Plunderbird previously, probably minus the second one. I could say the first one as well, but we didn't really see anything of the first one. So, it's one series away from cringy singing about self-writers, though. So, oh, I cannot wait to get in. Even then, I can't even call it great. I just think it's just really cringy, honestly. But that'll be an Extreme 1 thing. Yeah, that's a treat. Again, if you somehow have missed Extreme 1, oh boy. And I love Plunderbird guys, and that's still cringy to me. Not as cringy. I mean, it's almost as cringy as their Series 2 song, almost. But
oh god.
I mean, or the air guitar Steve Merrill in Series 3. But it's nowhere. It's no, or the Thermidor guys saying that Napalm Girl shouldn't be in the Robot Wars thing.
Oh god, that's
I know it's fake, but it's so.
Or Thermidor actually apparently being a good robot. That's pretty cringy.
Or even the Deitor team vandalizing Firestorm by taking some. I cannot wait.
You think all this is cringy, but I think it's hilarious. I love it. That's one of the reasons why I love Extreme 1. I thought that was just great. I thought it was hilarious.
I think I have to ask an important question. Are you into wrestling at all?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that probably explains it then. Because I really hate wrestling. It's all that kind of fake stuff. I think it's probably the reason why. That might be the reason why you like it, maybe.
Not really fake though, is it? You take a body slam and tell me it doesn't hurt. Just saying.
No, the fighting is real. The stories are just cringily fake. I think that's what gets me. Like it's nothing. Yeah, but whatever. Enough about wrestling and what Robot Wars. And of course, the robot you jokingly mentioned before, of course, is Vercingetorix. A lot of people forget it's the third one.
Robot?
It's not. It's probably their better version on it. Let's face it. It's probably before they made Comegetabetterrobot, which is just pointless. But I mean, I keep forgetting this is the third Vercingetorix. It's made no impact up until this point. I mean, do you remember the Series 2 one at all? So, does anyone remember that Vercingetorix appeared in Series 2?
I remember that both series that entered, Series 2 and Series 3 before this, they were actually considered favourites.
Why?
I don't know. Well, it's Series 2 I can understand, because let's be honest, it was in the same heat as Hardbark.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But Series 3...
It was the best robot in that heat, and it got screwed over by the house robots. But Series 3... I don't actually know. I mean, it looked sleek, don't get me wrong. It had a decent weapon on it, but it lost a Terrapin.
Yeah, it was in the same heat. It was in the same heat as Beast's Bobman, a former champion and grand finalist. I don't think they were going to beat them at all. But yeah, they lost a Terrapin of all robots. I mean, bloody hell.
I can see it making a heat final, actually. Don't get me wrong, but.
It's not a favourite by it. It's never been a favourite in any aspect for me. I mean, apart from maybe Series 2, but even then, it had so many interference problems it couldn't even do anything. And it shouldn't have even got past the Sumo, but that was an argument for Heat L. Go and watch that if you want to. Jesus Christ. But Vercingetorix, this is probably the best version of it, mainly because it feels the closest to actually working. I mean, the axe to its credit, this axe actually did get through armour a couple of times. got in the bottom of Fat Boy 10. It actually did pierce the top of Spawner Scutter as well. Which
And
is...
it even gave Razor a hole in the Annihilator as well.
Yeah, it actually did perform okay. I mean, and then of course they make comegetabetterrobot into become a joke. So,
Yes.
you know, if you're gonna part with if you're gonna go against Bigger Brother because you made fun of Major Tom, there's something wrong with you. But I mean,
Yeah, that's what I don't get right. They turned, again, fucking Extreme One. This made no sense in all fairness. They turned around and said, "Do they deserve to wear it?" You know, to Major Tom. And friggin' Bigger Brother get upset about. I'm sorry, what?
I don't know. I mean, I do love this team. I do love it. I love Ian Gear and the rest, and the rest of them. But it's just a weird thing. I love the I like the team. They're fine. I think they're great guys. But honestly, I think Vercingetorix is like, in terms of the whole line, even including Comegetabetterrobot, it's one of the most forgettable lines in my opinion. Like of ones that have hidden like 4 or more series. I always forget that Vercingetorix is a thing. I just don't know why. I think it's just
It's not one that jumps to my mind. It's not a thing where I'd look at it,
yeah. Like
and think Robot Wars,
Like for example, if it was like a pointless answer, like robots that have appeared in or robots that have appeared in 4 or more series, a lot of people would not mention Vercingetorix. I bet you. They would go for Behemoth, Chaos 2, Razor.
I would say Vercingetorix, and I would probably be guaranteed to get a pointless answer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone go for Chaos 2, Razor, Hypnodisc, Panic Attack, Behemoth, all these kind of ones. Poor Pussycat. Yeah, even more. Yeah, Mortis. I was gonna say Stegs, but then they were 3 series. God damn it, they're 1 off. But even robots, like actually, what do you count? Terra Turtle was in 2 series. God damn it! I was thinking, I'm trying to think of the most obscure one that would count. Velociriptor, maybe.
Twister.
Oh god, that team actually would count because actually wouldn't. And it would count if they win series 2 as well, even if they weren't in main competition. But I guess that's an iffy question. But Vercingetorix is not interesting. I mean, the only thing I have to comment about this particular version is the fact that Flifter is really slow. It's really slow. I mean, it's not weak, but it feels very Series 3 and 2. The way it lifts up.
Yeah.
It looks like it should be really fast. And the axe is actually, to its credit, the axe is actually quite decent, but you can tell they were, at this point, they just went, fuck it, let's just try and be like Mortis.
Yeah. It's another one of them things where you think to yourself, your axe is that powerful, why not just focus all your weight on making that axe even more powerful?
I don't know, because splitting between 2 weapons is fashionable for some robots.
I mean, with Mortis it worked because they were able to evenly balance the power.
They haven't
but
here.
I just think to myself, not being funny, you've got a good axe there. If you just took the weapon off, you'd have like an extra, 10, 15, maybe even 20 kilos to work with. Make the axe even more powerful using that weight advantage,
Yeah, I never really got... I mean, I like the team and all that, but this series of robots just never, ever really went, I love this. I never said I love Vercingetorix, I just kind of go, it's there. That is Vercingetorix. And then, as I said before, the 2 robots that lose in the first round are, to me, the most memorable robots in the entire heat, because, god damn it, how can you forget these 2 robots? I mean, right, mate, keep in mind, this is 2000, the SARS would have been about 6 at the time. Yeah, it would have been 6. My god, this would have been... this was very disappointing for me, because I saw these 2 robots and went, these 2 are really funny looking, I hope they get through. Nope. No, of course, we'll go with the one I think is probably I'll save the weirdest one for last, so we'll start with Banshee. Because what the hell is Banshee? I mean, this is Shark Attack Team may I add, which is...
Yeah, I was going to say, there's another one for you. Banshee from Shark Attack, there you go.
It's fun. I mean, actually, both the robots do share one thing in common, though. They lasted about 10 seconds. I mean, Shark Attack lasted so long against Behemoth, they had to use the same shot twice in 2 different angles just to fill up time for that battle. Here, the robots' weapons are like lathe tools, which look so weak. And the spin, actually, it doesn't really spin fast either. I mean, at least Warhog, okay, it was unreliable, but at least it spun fast. What the hell was Banshee doing?
This one spun at 200 RPM.
Wow, that's slower than some robots in Series 1. I think Talk of the Devil's Spinner went faster than that. Oh, Jesus. And, I mean, honestly, let's face it, though, you remember this robot purely for how it died and how it looks like. Because this robot has probably one of the best deaths, arguably, in this series. Maybe...
I'll give them credit where it's due. They went from one design and went to a completely different design. Fair play. They tried something new and it looked awesome.
Yeah.
But
actually, I
don't know whether this is. But the thing is, the annoying thing with Banshees, I can't tell whether it's meant to be a joke robot or whether it was actually meant to be serious. I can't.
It's
I think to
confusing.
myself, they tried to make a full body spinners. That's quite serious. But look at the bloody thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's one of those robots. Like, I mean, the team don't seem goofy at all. They just wear like a little shirt with like a picture of like a woman on it. It's like that's the Banshee, and there's no like silliness. They're not dressed up like old women or anything, or ghosts or anything like that. It's just they're just normal people with like some shirts they printed at home or something, and it's like. Yeah, there's nothing silly about it. I got me. I feel sorry for the guy who's the art teacher who made that head, because I mean, it's one of those things. One of those things in Robot Wars. If you spend so much, it's like Ton to Run. If you spend so much time making your robot look great, the house robots want to destroy it even more. They really hate anything. They hate fanciness in Robot Wars. I've noticed. So, yeah, Banshee certainly gets. I was gonna say I was gonna make this possibly my I was say it gets ahead in life. This robot.
Oh, you took my joke. I was going to say it when Shunt did it. I was going to say it when we discussed the battle. I was going to say, oh, well, Shunt's just trying to get ahead in life, but you fucking stole it, you...
Ha! Sorry. Actually, not sorry. But, oh, and it is shutting itself downstairs, outside. Brilliant. It is just thundering right now.
It's been doing it down here as well.
It's the first time it's done it today.
It's got thunder with you, have you? You got thunder up with you, have you?
A little bit. But I heard a little bit then. But we will carry on, of course. And, yeah, Banshee's
Let's do a power cut.
yeah. I mean, Banshee's just a weird... I think that's probably why Banshee's so weird, because it's... Again, it's unclear it's supposed to be a joke robot. It looks so weird, and it had a really weird death that it's hilarious in every single way. And then finally, possibly... Would you say this is probably one of those out there robots of Series 4?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how can you get any weirder than this? It is, of course, Fatboy Tin. A robot that... How would you describe Fatboy Tin? It's one of the few robots that's taller than Sir Kill-A-Lot. It leaned on top of something.
By a good foot, at least.
Yeah, it is, hold on. It is 1.2 meters tall. It has weapons that are like really long. When you see them actually sticking them out, those spikes are massive. They do nothing, but they're massive.
Yeah, that just shows you how small the robots really are. Because I mean, a lot of people think that the house robots are big, and they're not really that. I mean, when you think 1.2 meters, and it's tall, quite a bit taller than Sir Kill-A-Lot. That means that Sir Kill-A-Lot's roughly less than a meter tall.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wouldn't call that big.
No.
But I actually remember I saw Sir Kill-A-Lot when I was a kid, because I went to it was a stationary, it was on display at an air festival, and I went there, and literally I was like 10 at the time, and I was actually taller than it.
Wow. That'd be weird. But I mean, Fatboy, it's so slow. Imagine I love how everyone picked on it right from the start, because there's like no one else could really attack it. You couldn't do anything else to it, but just pick on this one easy target.
I just don't know how this robot was in any way usable. I mean, it's a rock and sock and robot on frickin' wheels. I mean, I give credit to the team where it is due, because they entered something so random and fun and silly and zany, but at the same time I'm like, huh? What? Why?
Actually,
why did you enter this?
Actually, also the fun fact about this robot is they had a little snail that got caught in the robot and ended up being in the fight the entire time, and that gave them inspiration for Shell Shock in Series 7, which was awful. So they're keeping their tradition going, at least.
There's another one for you. There's another random sequel robot. Another interesting thing about Fatboy Tin was it was actually supposed to be able to twist around. The body was supposed to be able to twist around. But unfortunately, it was overweight, so they had to take the motor out, which let it do that.
Oh, I'd love to see it do the robot. Wouldn't that have been? Oh, it's so awesome. It's such a shame that it was overweight. If it was in Series 5, it wouldn't be able to do that.
In all honesty, I have to be honest here. Whilst I do think it's a crap robot, I have to at least, unlike Banshee, where it could be or couldn't be, you can just tell 100% this was meant to be a joke robot.
I mean, it's even got an emoticon for a face.
Yeah, it was meant to be fun, and there you go. That's what happened. It was fun. I mean, I'll give him that.
I mean, even down to the name, it's called Fatboy Tin. Come on.
I know.
I mean, honestly, without even seeing the robot, I could tell it's a joke entry by its name.
And it led to a quite unfortunately unknown Jonathan Pierce pun in Heat K at the end. You know how they used to at the end they say who's in the next episode and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said, well, in the next heat, and also we have Plunderbird 4, versing Getarix and Fatboy Tin. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh Jesus, that is terrible. It's great, but it's terrible.
It's just JP, isn't it?
Yeah, it's JP. But again, I think personally, it's sort of in the same category as Granny's Revenge. There is nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing. I think that's why it's not annoying or dumb that it made it. Like, why does robots make it into the series when other robots could have made it in? We need a bit like Dave Laurie said. You gotta have that that randomness, a bit of the robots that just want to be it for the fun, the weird robots looking robots that you look at and go, no other robot could look like that apart from that robot.
There are some robots I don't think should have been let in for that reason. Like Scorpion in this series is one of them. I mean, they actually thought that was a good robot for a start, and it just wasn't.
Mine also think probably Ionor and Repteron as well. Just what was going on with those two?
They had nothing going for them at all. I mean, it wasn't even like you could say they'd make good scrap value. Well, I suppose Repteron would, because it actually was quite entertaining to see it get ripped apart. But
Banshee and Fatboy Tin are at least fun to look at, even if they're completely useless. So, there is that. Also, Fatboy Tin probably is slightly more impressive just for how massive it is and the scale of it. But it's just, in the day, it was just as good as Banshee. It lasted probably just as long. But actually, obviously, speaking of battles, obviously gets the first round. Of course, we have Spawner, Scutter, Nightmare, and Banshee, and this fight didn't really last. I mean, it was gone in like 10 seconds. Banshee already got flipped over after doing nothing. I mean, it just kind of spun around a bit, very slowly, then Spawner Scutter got the right moment, got underneath it, whacked it with a spike, and it tumbled over.
Possibly an amazing little pirouette, didn't it? As it went round.
And watching the head fall off was like hanging off by a thread was so funny when it's on the floor. And then Shunt comes in and just whacks it right through the head, and then puts it on the fire like a barbecue. It was just, it was so beautiful. I mean, I love Atlas, the Atlas one. I love Major Tom's head getting shattered into pieces, but also, and that's not their head, but Immortalis in Series 5 having its whole back end ripped out. But honestly, this is my favourite one, just for how long it lasted. Rips the head off, he toys with it, he hits it on the ground a bit more, then goes to the flames, whacks it again, leaves it on the fire pit, and it's just burning, and that was just lightning then. But yes, this is possibly one of the funniest killings of a robot I've seen in my life, and I love it.
It's hilarious. It's brilliant. The fight isn't much, but the entertainment you get from it is great.
It's not really a fight, honestly. I mean, Nightmare, you don't even see Nightmare most of the time. I mean, actually, I don't.
You see it once, and it actually manages to slam Spawner Scutter, against you in a sidewall, but that's about as much as you see.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not going to do much else. But Magic, it didn't really have to do anything, really. So, Banshee was. I mean, actually, even if Spawner Scutter hadn't got it first, I think even Nightmare could have flipped over. So, honestly, it was just about who's going to attack it first. In all honesty, but yeah, I do really love it. I mean, that wasn't much of a battle, really, was it? And speaking of something that also wasn't really much of a battle, Thunderbird 4, Fatboy Tin, and Vercingetorix. I mean, once again, Shunt hates faces because he just.
Well, he gave this one a nose.
Yeah, he gave it a nose this time. Right in there, and he dents the front of the head and everything. It's just. Actually, I mean, possibly this Heat, actually, despite not having the best battles, has some really, really memorable moments in it. And possibly one of my favourite moments, probably in Series 4, is how slowly Fatboy Tin fell over. Like, because first it gets first of all, lifted up really slowly, then it kind of lands on its side, stuck on top of Zakilot. Zakilot kind of goes, "Get it off me!" Like, it's got a spider on it, and he kind of shakes it off, and then eventually it just topples over.
Yeah, Zakilot's one weakness is he has a fear of snails.
True, he really does. I mean, he tried to throw Shell Shock out the arena in Series 3.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just like Nightmare, although less so, Plunderbird 4 did nothing because it didn't need to. I don't even touch any of the robots.
Actually, this would be surprised. This is one of the very few times you see Plunderbird's claw actually work.
I never saw it move any other time.
It used it on Fatboy Tin's front wedge, and it did manage to dent it. I think it pierced it, actually.
Ooh, it pierced some light metal.
Yeah.
Oh, deadly.
Hey, it still worked. It still worked, at least.
Oh no, we are forgetting the second highlight of this battle, though. Of course, when Fatboy Tin went onto the arena flipper, Vercingetorix decided to go. You know what? I'm gonna have a little bite of this flip.
Yeah, and Thunderbird caught by it as well because they were on the edge of it. All three robots got caught by the floor flipper in one go.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm trying to think. That's probably one of the funniest arena flips ever. Just for the fact that I mean, because the first Getter had to time that completely wrong, didn't they? And just get hurled with them. I mean, it doesn't beat the middleweight battle where you see like robots go flying out the arena and
Yeah.
getting flung all over the place, but. Actually, what I love about that battle is the fact that it was like a conveyor belt, wasn't it? Of just robots getting pushed onto the arena flipper because Typhoon was done with it. There you go. Here you go, Doom. Here you go, Mammoth.
Yeah.
Ooh, flying.
Yeah.
But
Bye, hard cheese. Get out. See you later. Cheers.
bye. Never see you.
Zap, get on there.
See you later. Join us for Viper 01.
Oh God.
God, that's a piece of shit of war robot right there. But yeah, Fatboy Tin just toppled over. Got his head caved in, and Vercingetorix managed a little bit of karma in a way for Vercingetorix. You know, attack them when they're down, and then you get flipped over. Beautiful. I mean, again, not much really happened to that battle. That was really most of the two highlights of the battle, really. But at least the really, really rubbish robots were out of the way first, so there's no bullshit later on in the second round, or really easy battles in the second round. Of course, we have the side event, which is the pinball, because there's no sumo, as we mentioned a billion times, because they stopped halfway through the heats. And of course, it is. Yep, of course, it could have put another event in. They could have done like a middleweight battle. I'm trying to think. They could have done just random battles. They could have had the football back. I don't know, something.
Yeah, a nice bit of, maybe the tug of war back or something.
I don't know, but anyway, we got Dietor instead at least, which is very nice to see, considering they lasted all of 2 seconds in Heat C. That's one of the few times, actually, one of the 2 times we get to see Dietor really do well, either in the Celebrity Special later on. But where he's driven by probably the only celebrity still going in that entire thing. But he's the only good celebrity out of them as well, so there is that. But
yeah,
Dietor actually managed to do well at this point in time. They're joint third in the pinball, 180. I think they're tied with who are they tied with? I forget.
Bigger Brother.
Bigger Brother, that was it. Which is actually quite impressive because they managed to get the 75, the 25, and the multi-ball, and they actually. And also, I love that they carried.
They got stuck on multi-balls, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, they got a multi-ball stuck on top of them the entire time as well, just kind of going along with the ride. It was a bit like in Behemoth in Series 2, where they carried a brick with it all the way through. But I love it when robots do that, just carry something with them they're not supposed to. It's like, we'll just fuck it, we have to carry on going. But again, it was nice to see Dietor actually do reasonably okay. I mean, 180 points, it's above the 100 mark, 100 target. It did better than Hypnodisc, so there is that. I mean, although true, Hypnodisc is less maneuverable than Dietor, but whatever. Still not a bad run. What do you say?
Not a bad run at all.
Yeah, I mean, in the long term, it's at least in the top 10, so it did better than this in the sumo, because the sumo run was just painful.
They may as well not even entered. They may as well just driven off themselves.
Yeah, I think we'd have probably got a longer time, honestly. But yeah, I was basically the pinball, nothing too special. That was just a decent run. Then, of course, we had the battles. The first being Spawner Scutter against Vercingetorix, and Sakilot really fucked over Vercingetorix in this battle, didn't he?
Absolutely mangled it, didn't he? I mean, Jesus, backwards. He properly chomped on its tracks like 3 times, didn't he, or something like that?
So unnecessary as well. I mean, fair. Okay, to his credit, Vercingetorix was pushed into the CPZ by Spawner Scutter, but even then, that seemed a bit too harsh, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, usually in the CPZ, when a robot gets pushed in there, usually, it gets a cheeky little one hit from Shunt, or, Kidlot will, give it a cheeky push with its lance or something, and then let it go. Here, he just friggin' said, nah, mate, and just nommed on it.
Yeah, and it kind of ultimately screwed over Vercingetorix because it just broke and couldn't really go anything. I mean, those tracks look pretty bad. I mean...
Yeah, they look mangled, didn't they?
Although, I have to say, though, in all fairness, provided that Spawner Scutter still worked throughout the battle, I don't think really Vercingetorix could have done much to them because they were constantly getting underneath them. I mean... Oh,
yeah. I mean, it was Spawner again. It was Spawner Scutter's match, wasn't it?
Yeah. You're doing what I do. You're almost saying Spawn again every time. Because it's the most common one.
It's my first time since, in 6 weeks. Leave me alone.
It could be the fact that it's in 4 series versus this one that's only in 1. So... That could be maybe it.
That might be it as well.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, the fight. I mean, that probably wouldn't have been that interesting if that hadn't happened. Honestly, it would have been a lot of pushing, really. I imagine. And first guess it would have broken down or something would have happened to it, or Spawner Scuttle might have broken down. Who cares? It didn't work anyway, so, it got chomped, nom-nommed by Sir Killalot, and yeah, they just kind of died. And this is the last time Vercingetorix is actually viable in the main competition, before they make Comegetabetterrobot, which is just... Why? Why do you keep getting through? You know what I mean? That's what I keep asking Comegetabetterrobot, but whatever. And then, of course, we have the second battle, Plunderbird 4 versus Nightmare, and again, the battle was mostly just a bit of pushing, a bit of shoving, a bit of driving around, and then the fateful flip. They got Plunderbird 4 stuck on its side, which was actually a nice little flip in fairness by Nightmare.
It was just so sneaky, wasn't it? Just glides underneath it, gives it a little cheeky flick. Oh, there you go, you're out.
Yeah, it was so smooth, wasn't it? It wasn't. It was almost like Cassius and Loco in Series 2. I just went, boop.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, the sneakiest one, in my opinion, was the Grand Final of Series 1 with Roadblock against Robot the Bruce.
Oh, yeah, literally just drives around, ploughing through everything.
It just slides and gets it stuck on its side. Probably the most elegant flipping I've seen in my life, but...
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, but this one... I mean, really, is there anything else to really describe in this battle? It wasn't... Again, this is the problem with this heat.
Yeah, it's a lot of nothing but memorable things. There's two things I remember from this. One was JP's commentary. Is he turned around and said, they're great fun, the Thunderbird boys. They ride by helicopter. They can sing a little as well. Don't ask them to. They're awful at singing. That makes me laugh every time. And another one, and it sounds weird, but just the way that Thunderbird 4 got pitted.
Yeah.
It's such a random way. I mean, it's the last way you'd expect it to go in. You know what I mean? Like, you expect it to get pushed in normally or something, but to be dropped in from that height and to just land perfectly and balanced there on its core.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? It was an elegant battle, even if pretty much nothing happened most of the time.
It's like ballet.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, this is what this heat is like, apart from the heat final, we'll get to in a sec, obviously, but this is what this heat is sort of like. I mean, there's always like a memorable moment in each of the heats, but the actual battle is pretty boring. It's always like just something that happens. There's always one highlight in every battle at least, apart from, again, the heat final. Spawner Scuttle versus Nightmare. I mean, I've made fun of, obviously, the Panzer versus Evil fight. There's Eruption versus Cherub in Series 9, which is just shit. I mean, it's impressive, but it's shit. Because nothing actually happened. Eruption doing its usual thing, because Anderson loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah, oh man, yes. That's what I love to see. 8-second battles. Just get them out there as quick as possible. Sod close battles and damage, and two robots going at it really close back and forth. What we want to see is a robot get flipped out in less than a second.
It's fine, but
I'm not
yeah, I know we find Eruption. That's fair enough. I mean, people have their different tastes in how robots fight. This is obviously not an example of this kind of thing, but that's just a thing about Eruption. But yeah, hands down, this is the worst heat final ever, bar the Panzer one. Actually, okay, it's the worst heat final where both robots move from the start. How about that? Because
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, because at least Eruption did actually do something in that battle. Here, they ran into each other, and Spawner Scuttle managed to knock out, or more Nightmare managed to knock its own. Either way is possible. Managed to knock its removable link out. I'm guessing because it just stopped.
It literally just died there, and that was it. There's only, I mean, it's up there with Cunning Plan and Demolisher from Series 1 as well, because that was literally just drive forward, flip over. Oh, okay. Cheers.
And we know how much you love that heat.
Yeah.
But it has bugs.
There's one thing that I can give this heat final was at least Nightmare got a fucking good trash him.
It did. I mean, they really decided to go all out on it, didn't they?
Well, I mean, they had no choice. It didn't do anything. I'm sorry, but they were like, we've got to make this battle interesting somehow. We got all this, because remember, they're 5-minute battles. It died in like the opening 5 seconds. You've got all this spare time, lads. What are we going to do? We may as well go all out on it.
Well, you got to feel sorry for the Nightmare team. After all that, that's how you go out. I mean, hands down, the worst way to go out, apart from bad driving or getting screwed over by an obstacle, is probably the removable link going. Because I
don't know. A black cable around your kill switch is pretty bad as well.
That's
Disco Inferno.
Yeah, I was design fault though. I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, even to this very day, you get removable links coming out very easily after nudges, whacks, or in the case of Worm, you can just drive into the wall and knock both your drive chains off. That's also just a way of killing yourself. That's pathetic. I mean, I absolutely, I love the Worm Boys, but that was honestly one of the pathetic ways to destroy yourself. Apart from Evil Weevil not charging your batteries, that's also a competent way of killing yourself. Obviously, we learned last Heat.
I love again, something, Diggs analysis. Well, when a chain snaps on it, it like jumps over and beats itself on its own forklift.
Yeah.
Like, might think that's a bit of a design flaw.
Yeah. Actually, it's very simple. This fight is almost very reminiscent of Pitbull versus something, where the fight lasts about 2 seconds, and then something gets mangled by Sir Killalot on the lance.
Nearly cut in half by Sergeant Bash.
Yeah, it was just brutal. They killed something badly, even more than it could have been. But yeah, we've talked about it longer than the actual fight happened, really, into the actual thing that any robots doing anything. Because yeah, that was the Heat final, the worst one in history where both robots actually move. But yeah, that was Heat L. I'd say it's a decent Heat. Again, as I said before, the biggest problem I think with it is that the battles aren't very interesting. But there's always there's always a highlight to make up for it, and the robots are at least, apart from maybe Vercingetorix to me, at least I think all the robots have at least something interesting about them. But
I think it's a very mid-spectrum Heat. It's very much in the middle. Like, you got Heats like Heat N, O, P, B, E, sort of in the higher end, and then you got like C, D, to an extent. K, all right, yeah, okay, and I and all that, and then in the middle you got like F and
J,
L and
J, M,
and J.
M's a bit like that, yeah, but obviously that's the next Heat, obviously. But I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10 because the highlights just make up just above being absolutely in the middle. But
yeah, 6 out of 10 I think fair. That's what I'd give it.
Yeah, I mean, again, the highlights. If the highlights weren't there, it might be a 4 or 5. But with those highlights, it just boosts up to a 6 at least. And again, some interesting robot designs, some a nice bit of Deitor action. Multiple heads being chopped off or whacked into and hacked up. Some okay battles, I guess. Is enough to make up for it. But that was Heat L, and obviously we do the usual thing of previewing Heat M, which again is pretty much I give it exactly the same score in advance, 6 out of 10. This one, it does have some better battles in it, but again, this is one of the Heats I just don't remember much of. I have to watch it back in it to actually remember what happened in it, because I just don't really remember loads happening in it, but I don't know. I mean, joining me for that Heat will be Sam and Stephen for that one, joining forces once again. So that'll be fun. But this is obviously Heat M, of course, and the winner is one of my favourite robots of all time, the 11th Seeds. Da-da-na-na. 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 Wild Thing. And
yeah.
The first time it's called Wild Thing, because obviously it's called Thing 2 in Series 3, and it's the first time they keep this name for the rest of the series. It's such an awesome name. Yeah. Wild Thing.
Such a good robot as well. Oh my god.
Also, the best version of Wild Thing is this particular version. I love it. I mean, the spinning disc in Series 5 and Extreme 1 was just gimmicky. I mean, it seemed to cause it more problems, I found, the disc, actually. It seemed to make it kind of move a little bit. I mean, it almost lost to Trouble and Strife at one point. That's kind of bad. In its opening battle. They had actually, but here, actually, dominating
very nearly lost a prize fighter as well. Very nearly.
Yeah, I mean, some people, I actually would disagree. I would personally say that prize fighter maybe might have deserved to win that one, but
that is one of those battles which is very, very split down the middle. Either everyone agrees with it or disagrees with it.
I personally disagree, but I'm not strong about it.
My wife disagrees with it.
I can understand. It's understandable either way, but this version of Wild Thing managed to survive hitting the disc. It got its wheels buckled up. I think there's something simplistic about it. Like, basically, they took what they made Wild Thing good about it. The driving from Nick Adams, the wedge-shaped design, and decided to get with the useless spike we had at the back, put it at the front, and that actually might work better. And it actually did work out a lot better because it's a stabby weapon, it's a lifter, it's a pusher, it's a poker, it's everything.
Right.
Yeah, it's a self-righter, because obviously its biggest problem was it couldn't self-right last series, which they thought, we're not going to get flipped over. Spike. So this time, it actually came out. I don't know why the spikes on the side of it. Is just so it doesn't get stuck in its side. I
believe so.
I mean, I can't think of any other reason why they'd be there, but yeah, this is hands down the best version of Wild Thing, because the Series 5 version isn't terrible. It just the disc just kind of makes it a little bit slightly harder to drive at times with the gyroscopic of it. And the less we talk about the Series 6 version, the better. But I mean, it is durable. Granted, it did 5259, but it doesn't make it good. I mean, napalm is durable in Series 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's durable. Yeah, it means it gets hit more. Woo, great. That's an advantage for you. But yeah, this version is definitely the best one, hands down, because of how, I guess, both durable and reliable it was. Just like basically, it was basically the Series 3 version, but with a little bit more offense, really. And I like the Series 3 version, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I'm never going to complain. It's Nick Adams. he's one of the best.
Nick Adams is bae.
This is the series that actually showed Nick Adams' driving skill to the best as well. Because in Series 3, he definitely had some good driving skill, but in Series 4, man, that's where he really amped it up to the max. I mean,
if you want to see his driving skill, just watch his battle against Exterminator.
Yeah, I mean, he just
that is
controls.
Fantastic.
I mean, it doesn't help Exterminator shit in Series 4 and Series 5 and Series 6.
I don't think it was shit, in all honesty. It had its good points in all series.
I'm just spoiled. I'm just spoiled by Series 3 Exterminator, I think. But
yeah, that's my favourite version. I think that the worst one was the Series 7 version. Okay, I know it made the grand final, but design-wise, it was the worst one.
Yeah, it's slower and stuff, but obviously that'll be Heat.
That's for another day.
That's Heat N discussions. But I think are you joining me for Heat N? Oh, you are. You're with Brandon for that one, so that'd be cool. Cheeky. Of course, then we have the other robot mage. So they make it. Got to the Heat final. We have probably one of the. I agree with Mr. Psycho. It's probably, or I think it was Mr. Psycho or Alex, one or two, said that it's possibly one of the best names in my opinion. In their opinion, it's the Steel Avenger. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Steel Avenger. But,
robot.
Yeah, I never really made an impact for me, Steel Avenger. But I like that the team are fine. I love the little signature feather dust of it. I love the armor they put on themselves. I don't know why. It's one of the funniest costumes ever. And again, I love the name.
They actually won the unofficial best costume award for that as well.
Yeah, and they have a great name. I mean, he lost to Deersaw, so they can't be the greatest robot ever. But also, they also managed to have probably one of the best, in my opinion, my favourite moment of Series 7 was getting knocked out of the arena by Storm 2.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, that was. I mean, obviously, it's nothing to do with Steel Avenger, obviously, but it's just impressive that happened. That was actually able to happen in the first place. The only robot, as far as I'm aware, to get rammed out of the arena. It's bloody impressive. But Steel Avenger itself, again, it's just They learned the lesson this time. They actually worked self-writer on it. Didn't really work well, but they.
No.
I mean, it works better in Series 5. It actually worked, but in Series 4, oh my god, it didn't work in Series 4. Imagine they had a half in Series 5. They were against Chaos 2, weren't they? So.
Yeah.
This robot's just doomed to go against good robots. It feels like. And actually,
that's a good point. It almost always was, wasn't it?
I mean, Storm 2 in Series 7, that's also a bad robot to go against, particularly when you're quite a high ground clearance yourself. And they never really worked on it, did they? They never managed. The
only thing they really did was in Series 7. They obviously they were building a new robot to enter Series 7 called SA2, which obviously is Steel Avenger 2. But unfortunately, they wasn't going to be ready in time. So what they did was they took the pneumatics and the RAM and the actual axe from that, and then they put it on Steel Avenger, which is why the axe was much more deadly in that series.
Yeah, I got to admit, I think it's a shame that one didn't actually get made, because I think that looks a lot better than their version of Steel Avenger. It looks a little bit lower to the ground and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, it's great. I mean, the team's great and all that. It's sort of like Vercingetorix. It appears in a lot of series, but I honestly don't really remember it that well. Because it never really does that well in battles. It just seems to get lucky. It gets past the first round sometimes. But whatever. I mean, it's fine. Then, of course, again, we mentioned one of the greatest Robot Wars teams of all time in the Plunderbird Boys. We have another one. The 27th Seeds, which is still hilarious to me. Sir Chromalot with the what the fuck is on it? Like, seriously, what is that lighthouse of a thing on it?
Their legs. I think what's meant to happen is that the legs are meant to come down to like right it.
They never worked though.
Well, in all fairness, they never really needed it, did they?
No, because it didn't really go against anything that could flip it over.
No.
But
a shame, really. But oh well.
Actually,
his waggling stick. Don't forget the waggling stick.
Well, it was supposed to be a drill, but it bent up so badly it just ended up turning a little waggler. But actually, one thing I find, one design detail I actually find really funny about this robot, it had the little blinking light on the top of it. Like the robot was like, it used to be like a low flying aircraft wouldn't hit it because it's that tall.
Yeah.
I mean, what strikes me about this robot is actually really small. Its highest dimension is 65 centimeters. How? How is that? How is that?
Yeah.
I don't get how that makes sense. It looks like Fat Boy Tin size, but it's not. And
yeah, it's like that's just over 2 feet tall.
And honestly, let's face it. Apart from the self-righting mechanism, it's basically the same robot again, but with a drill stuck to it. It still has the same spike as last. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same robot. Honestly, they just changed it a little bit slightly, but do a napalm.
Yeah.
But it's still again. Come on, it's Steve Merrill. How can you hate Steve? He's one of the greatest roboteers in the end. R.I.P. Steve Merrill, but god damn it, he's awesome. And even though his robots, let's face it, were always the same thing every year, and he never got past the second round, ever. Maybe there's a reason why, but
yeah. Some little fun fact about Sir Chromalot. This is the only series where it did not lose to the Heat winner.
That's true, actually. Yes, it lost to the Steel Avenger of all robots.
The one series it was seeded, it did not lose to the Heat winner.
Oh, there's funny seeds. I mean, 27. At least it's a low seed. At least they didn't give it anything past 20. I mean, if it was that, I'd be like, no. But
yeah, it's a look. I think from 25 onwards, it's a look good in the pits kind of number anyway. So
or the team of fun. Let's give them a seed.
Yeah,
because we want these guys again more than anything.
Yes.
Man, who wouldn't? They're awesome. And then of course we mentioned this team before with the when he turned into Rhino for some reason. But of course this is the original reactor, complete with shitty flipper, compared to the Series 5 one, which actually had a little bit more of a flip to it.
I'm going to be honest. You didn't even see the flipper go up in any of its battles in this series.
No, it didn't work. It was basically just a wedge. I mean, it took out Scorpion, but that's saying nothing. But
and in all fairness, the Chromalot took Scorpion out first. It drilled into its tyre and immobilised it on one side.
Yeah, I mean, Isomeo Reactor is just so bulky. It's ridiculous.
It's very, very bulky. It was almost as if it went on slim fast, for Series 5. Because although it was heavier in Series 5, it looked a lot thinner.
Yeah, the useless axe on the back of it in Series 5.
Yes.
It did so well. But actually, here's something that might shock you slightly. The Series 4 version, at least, it is 10 centimeters longer than Fatboy Tin is tall.
Bloody hell!
It's 1.3 meters long. Fatboy Tin is 1.2 meters tall. It doesn't look like it, but you can actually see it. I mean, the Series 5 version is really long as well. I mean, how long is the Series 5? It's 1.42 meters. It's 12 centimeters longer in Series 5.
Bloody hell!
How do they make it longer? I play all the pneumatics, I guess, for the axe and the flipper, but still, I mean, this robot's probably one of the longest robots in the series, but it doesn't look it. It never feels really that long, but when you see it in the bench and stuff, you realize how big it is. But this version of the reactor was basically just a boring wedge thing. I mean, the Series 5 version at least actually dominated Gemini really successfully, which is pretty fun to watch, and also get into the Heat Final, which
that is a great battle. That's one of my favourite battles of Series 5, just because it's just so tactical.
Yeah, it's hilarious as well.
It's really good.
And it's a shame they didn't.
Hilarious.
Also, it's a shame they didn't They didn't qualify for Series 6, because
they attempted to, but they failed to qualify.
It's a shame because the Heat Finalists might have got some leeway, but I don't know. But I mean, they got flipped out of the arena by Firestorm, so I guess.
Yeah, they actually improved it as well, because they removed the axe and replaced it with a spinning disc, so it might have done better. Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably the same spinning disc they used on Rhino, which was so useless. So it's as bad as a Millennium Bug Spinner, honestly. It's or invertebrates, the ones that are so close to the wheel and are mounted vertically that are so useless. There's no point of even existing.
This one actually stuck out of it, like a sort of 259 style thing. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's a lot more potent at least.
So it's not a bludgeon, it's an actual disc sort of thing.
Now a robot. It's actually one of my favourite robots, just for how odd it is. I mean, again, it's useless. I'm not saying it's a good robot. It is completely useless. It's shit, rubbish, all the words for it. But my God, do I love how silly it looks in Series 4. It's so called Scorpion. That face that makes you want to, it's waiting for you to. It's watching you. It's watching you while you sleep. That's the kind of.
I'm, I'm going to say this right. It is a rubbish robot, but I think they deserve praise because they managed to attach 4 different weapons onto this thing.
And none of them really did anything.
None of them did anything.
Although, actually, although
But at least it looked like a scorpion. I'll give it that.
actually, one thing that you might fail to forget, but they actually did damage with this chainsaw to King Buxton at King B3 in the tag team terror.
They did, yes.
They actually
And
used
they
the
were
weapon.
also, get this, that disc on the back in their battle against Reactor and bugger.
Zuckerblot.
Reactor and that's the one, Scromlot. It managed to knock one of the metal things off of Reactor's wheels.
Damn. Actually, also, this is something I still can't believe this is actually this is true. But Scorpion is the robot that caused spinners to be banned in the live events.
Yep.
Scorpion. Yeah, Shredder. Yeah, but Scorpion. Shredder I can sort of buy. I can't buy Scorpion, like, thinking about it. Yeah, obviously, no, in the future, I see the new Scorpions, it looks more competent. The spinner actually looks okay. Actually, Spirit of Scorpion actually looks quite nice. But
The reason why this happened was, if I'm right in thinking, because again, I heard this years ago, and I don't know if I've got the full story right, but I think it hit a robot and one of the teeth fell off the spinner, and it flew through the ceiling of the arena and then landed near a spectator.
oh right, damn.
And at that point, you're like, well, yeah, get out, sort of thing. But here's another thing for you. This shows you how deadly it was. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I used to get the Real Robot magazines, the subscription thing,
Oh yeah.
and you had like that Cybot thing, didn't you? And that blue little robot you could build. You got bits for each magazine.
Hmm.
And in one of those, it showed some live event pictures, and there was a battle between Scorpion, Bulldog Breed, and Bigger Brother.
Hmm.
And in this battle, so in that battle, you can see Bulldog Breed with an entire side panel missing.
Wow.
Now, with Scorpion being the only robot with a spinner in there,
That must have caused it.
It must have caused it.
It's weird, 'cause, I mean, when you're looking at the original Scorpion, you can see the way it turned into Spirit of Scorpion. Like this, basically they flipped it round and put like a kind of lifter at the back. It actually kind of looks like the other robot that lost in the first round in this heat. Surprisingly, I don't know if that's where they got the inspiration from, but it might be possible because Scorpion is so dumb looking. I mean, I think I love it for how rubbish it looks, but in a way, it's kind of like it's a good kind of rubbish. It looks like my first paint, my first paint job, and it's like made out. It looks like it's made out of paper mache. It's got a chainsaw sticking out of it. 3 useless spinners.
It's somehow flammable without having any fur on it. I will never understand that.
I think it's fiberglass. Maybe I don't know if that makes a difference, but that shouldn't set on fire. Either way,
Dreadnought never did, and Dreadnought was fiberglass.
So I have no idea in that case. Must have made a new chemical up. But I mean, again, as I said, Scorpion is a bad robot. It's not a good robot, but again, I think maybe it's the face, honestly. But I think it's sort of lovable for how shit it is. And it's funny because they kept throwing it at you, didn't they? Do you want Scorpion in the Heat? Do you want Scorpion in the Sumo? Do you want Scorpion in the Tag Team Terror? No. Tough.
No.
Tough. You're having a Scorpion every single day. I mean, I'm surprised they weren't in the pinball, honestly.
Turn around in the Tag Team Terror and say, we got a good robot, we just haven't got a stream mech. No, you haven't got a good robot at all.
It could be worse reasoning. I mean, for example, the Exterminator and Vertebrat boys, because Exterminator drove through the same place that Invertebrate lived in. So
yeah,
that counts.
I once visited Hereford, so we decided to team up for tag. What the fuck is that? If I was Exterminator, I would have gone with Bearmoth because they both had the same surname as Pritchard.
That would have made more sense, wouldn't it?
That would have actually been more interesting.
And also, it would have actually kind of like cancelled the feud they had in the Heat. Because it's weird, they both went against each other as well. That's that's weird. And of course, last but not least, as I said, I think Scorpion looks very similar to this from Series 6 onwards. Particularly the Series 6 version. It is, of course, Humphrey. I'm just going to say now, personally, Humphrey is not the worst robot in Series 4. That honour for me goes to something like Iron Ore or Spirit of Napalm or something like that. It is the most forgettable robot of Series 4, in my personal opinion. It literally makes no impact whatsoever. It's just a little wedge thing with a small electric lifter. Yeah, it's like Maverick, but even less interesting because at least Maverick made Rick later on. This is just made Nasty Humphrey. Ooh,
What gets me right is that one, they named it Humphrey.
that's a great name though, in fairness.
But it's nothing like a straw. You know what I mean? Like that was the whole point of Humphrey. It was like a straw that went around, drinking milk or something stupid like that. This had no resemblance to that whatsoever. And second of all, which is most baffling, is in that first round battle that it was in, all the action was from Steel Avenger and Wild Thing. Wild Thing just attacked Steel Avenger. Humphrey did bugger all and somehow broke down.
Yeah, actually, Humphrey only has one distinction to its name. Is that alright? If you want to be really, really technical, it has appeared in a lot of episodes of Robot Wars because it's in the intro from Game.
Oh yeah.
It's weird because out of all robots, why'd they pick Humphrey as a clip? I find it really.
This is because you got flipped by the floor flipper. I think that's the only reason why, because it was flipped by the floor flipper when it did it.
I would have shown Millennium Bug getting flipped over. That'd been funny. Or Claude Hopper, or Reptor.
Yeah.
Actually, no, Repteron. It's on fire when it gets flipped over.
Yeah.
Or Deator in Series 3. Why couldn't they have done that? Instead, it's just like Humphrey because reasons. I mean, Nasty Humphrey later appeared, and it just didn't do anything. Again,
in my opinion, though, all the clips that they used for the beginning of that new intro weren't good.
I mean, some of them.
Why not have Hypnus ripping apart Robogeddon? Why not have Chaos 2 throwing Firestorm out the arena? Why not have Razor clawing into someone? Why would you have Humphrey getting flipped quickly?
I don't know. Actually, one thing I found strange, it always confused me when I was younger about the intro. It shows a lot of American robots, like from the Nickelodeon series. I'm like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What are these robots? Like, what the hell is that robot? And they're like, then nowadays I'm like, oh, it's Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah, it's like another one as well. Is when they released the DVDs about the House robots, and then obviously Hypnotist, Chaos 2, and Razor.
Yeah.
Well, in the House Robot DVD, they used a hell of a lot of clips from the US show to the point where I'm like, what the fuck is this? When did this happen? What have I missed? And
yeah.
It's just a case of, it's the US version.
All
right then.
I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not about Humphrey, but it's just forgettable.
It's just so forgettable. It's unreal. I mean, you know me. I'm like a walking encyclopedia, and I struggle to remember this thing.
It is. I'm trying to think what it would be like. One of the robot in Series 3 equivalent of. It's sort of like the Spike of Series 4. There is nothing, or Sergeant Meekle, or Manic Mutant of the series. I mean, actually, Manic Mutant probably. I don't think probably because I remember Spike because Spike versus Blade at least, but and Sergeant Meekle is so pathetic. But yeah, it's probably like Manic Mutant. It's just again, there's inherently nothing wrong with the design's fine. It looks fine. It looks competent.
It's also a bit like T-Bone from Series 5. I mean, no one
yes, yes, T-Bone.
Can you believe that John Finley would go on to make Ripper?
Also, a bit like Gazundabot as well.
Oh God, what the fuck was that? That made us Midlanders look stupid. I'm sorry.
Oh well, but yeah, Humphrey's just a thing. It'll always be a thing, and yeah, that is Humphrey. Obviously, that will be Heat M. Will be joined by Sam and Stephen for that one, of course. So I'm Jimjamatic signing off.
Man, it's 9132, the Robot Wars Guru, and I'm gonna go spend time as a married man.
Yay!
Which means no more drinking. Oh.
Yeah, right.